Attention! A special broadcast is beginning now. Weekly Politics, International, World News with Elena Chobanian.
Hello, this is Weekly Politics and I am Elena Chobanian. Here are the latest news of the week. A deadly airstrike on Syria refugee camp took over 28 people's lives. Images on social media show tents destroyed at the camp near Sarmada. Some reports argue that attack was by Russian or Syrian airplanes, although it has not been confirmed. The Syrian military and non-jihadist rebel forces had agreed to a temporary truce around the city of Aleppo, following pressure from Russia and the US. The United Nations has warned if the nationwide cessation fails, it will be catastrophic and could send 400,000 more people heading for refuge at the border with Turkey. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, a UK-based monitoring group, reported that 28 people had been killed, including women and children, and that 50 more were wounded. The White House condemned the attack. The U.S. Armenians pressed Warlick to counter Azerbaijani aggression. The Armenian-American delegation voiced disappointment regarding the U.S. government's lack of leadership is overcoming Azerbaijan's obstruction of the implementation of the Royce-Engel proposals for forthright U.S. condemnation of Baku's attacks, atrocities, and threats of renewed war. Why are Canadian troops in Iraq wearing Kurdish flag? Critics say flags that represent autonomous Kurdish region may run counter to Canada's stated mission in country. Canadian military personnel are training Kurdish Peshmerga forces in northern Iraq against the Islamic State of Iraq, and a spokesperson for the Department for National Defense told the Kurdish flag is being used to ensure troop safety. However, critics argue that the flags, which represent the autonomous Kurdish region of Iraq under the control of Kurdistan Regional Government, send the wrong message and may actually run counter to Canada's stated mission in the country. Canada is also continuing to assist the international coalition fighting ISIL with air-to-air refueling and aerial surveillance, reported Al Jazeera. Egypt journalists demand dismissal of Interior Minister. Thousands of Egyptian journalists have demanded the sacking of the country's Interior Minister for a raid on the press syndicate and arrest of 2 journalists. The operation against the organization was the first in its 75-year history. The Interior Ministry has denied its officers had stormed the Union building, but confirmed it had arrested the 2 inside the building. The prosecutor's office issued a gag order on Tuesday on the case of the 2 journalists and the circumstances of their arrest.
The developments came in the wake of the police raid on the syndicate on Sunday and the subsequent detention of 2 prominent journalists. The 2 have been accused of inciting protests over President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's widely unpopular decision to hand over 2 strategic Red Sea islands to oil-rich Saudi Arabia.
This is the continuation of the existing series of crackdowns against freedom of expression and journalism in the country. We are living in a lawless state.
Journalists from all streams have condemned the events, which ironically coincided with the International Press Day.
This is unprecedented. It is a crime and an insult to press freedom, not only in Egypt, but across the world.
We already issued a strongly worded statement on the matter, which is unprecedented in the history of Egypt and the world, and we will not back away from the existing confrontation.
There is a will among the ranks of journalists to press on with further demands serving the cause of press freedoms, and we are now waiting for resolutions by the General Assembly.
European Commission takes new steps towards lifting of temporary border controls. The EC has today proposed a recommendation to be decided upon by the Council to prolong controls at certain Schengen borders, especially in Germany, Sweden, Denmark, Austria and Norway, for a maximum 6 months. National measures have already been introduced by these countries to address the threat to internal security. Today's draft recommendation proposes to extend these measures in line with the Schengen Borders Code and despite significant progress made by Greece, not all the serious deficiencies identified could be comprehensively addressed within the 3-month limit, 3rd AM reported. America weighs more troops, high-tech weapons in Europe to counter Russia. Seeking to stare down any future Russian aggression, the US is looking to deploy more troops and sophisticated weapons to Europe, the US military's top officer told Foreign Policy. As American commanders draw up a budget request for fiscal year 2018, military leaders are looking at deploying even more troops and hardware to Eastern Europe. Next month, 13,000 US troops will take part in a massive NATO exercise in Poland, joining 12,000 troops from 24 other allied nations in one of the largest alliance exercises in recent memory. While we are following the news and significant events, think about what kind of world you would like to live in. Continuous war which takes human lives, or a place where harmony and love are leading. Till the next time.